La prestaste a la hermana de
if somebody on will we be okay to start? Okay. Good afternoon, the Laredo College Program and Policy Committee meeting. It is 5:35. This meeting is called to order. We'll do roll call. Jackie Levin Ramos, present. Erica Benavides Garcia.
Present.
Lizzie Newsom. Ernestina Tita Cantuvela. And I believe they're running late, so we will begin the meeting accordingly. And so we're going to move on to number 3, discuss for possible action at the regular monthly board meeting, modifications to Laredo College Board Policy CAK Local, appropriations and revenue sources investments. Mr. Cesar Vela? Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Ramirez, Cesar Vela, VP of Finance and Administration for the record. The first item on the agenda is the approval of modifications to Laredo College Board Policy CAK, local appropriations and revenue sources investments. We are required by Section 2256.005 of the Public Funds Investment Act to bring the policy and the investment strategies to the board once a year for review. We have worked with our investment advisor to review the policy, and they have made some minor recommendations to the policy. And I'll briefly go over some of those items. So the first one is on, if you look at your copy of the attached policy, is on page 4 of 12, section 3.3, for debt service funds. For that, they're just making a clarification when it comes to the amount of time that the funds can be held. And that is on the second paragraph of section 3.3. We are deleting a section and clarifying that the maturity date of investment shall not have a stated maturity date that exceeds the next unfunded debt service payment. So basically, that the maturity of an investment should not be greater than when the payment date for the next debt service payment is due. So we cannot, if we have a payment that is due in 6 months, the investment cannot be greater than the 6 months. So basically, to clarify that on section 3.3, on page 6 of 12, section 4.2, on under number 2, they're just basically clarifying. The old policy stated that FDIC limits, they're changing that to read federal insurance. So this basically is the 250,000 of insurance that is covered by the federal government on all deposits.
Mr. Vela, may I interrupt for a
Yes,
second? The chair recognizes Ms. Newsom. She's in attendance at our Program and Policy Committee. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Mr. Vela?
Yes, and then the next section is section 4.3. And this is page 7 of 12. And again, it's an addition there to number 4. All financial institution deposits shall be secured by federal insurance and/or by collateral pledge. The market value of securities pledged as collateral for deposits shall at all times be equal or greater than 105% of the total deposit plus accrued interest, less the applicable level of federal insurance. And basically, they're just clarifying that the 250,000 coverage plus the collateral has to be 105% of the deposits within that particular bank. So we have to secure all the funds with the 250,000 plus any pledged securities that the bank may offer to protect the institution's funds. And on page 8 of 12, again, just to clarify, when on that third paragraph, the old wording said all collateral. They're just clarifying that it should be all pledged securities. Okay. On page 9 of 12, section 5.2, they're deleting that first sentence, and basically the training for the investment officer is still a requirement. It's just clarified on that second sentence. So basically, it was more of a duplicated information, so they're deleting that first sentence.
Okay.
And the last 2 items are just to change the dates. Again, this policy review was reviewed at an open meeting, and this will be part of the July 30th meeting, and that is section 6.1, and the changes will become effective July 30th. And so section 6.2 just provides that information of the effective date of the policy. And again, these are the changes that are being recommended for this coming fiscal year, 2026.
Okay.
And this will then satisfy the requirement of having the policy reviewed under section 2256
Okay.
of the public.
Are we having any other presentation, or that's it?
No, that would be it.
That's it? Okay.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mr. Vela. Number 4 is discuss for possible action at the regular monthly board meeting provisions of Texas Senate Bill 37 requiring abolishment of the faculty senate in its current form, act as needed to form a new faculty representative organization, and change Laredo College Board Policy BGC Local and Board Regulation BD Regulation. Dr. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina.
And Mr. Muir. And Mr. Muir is.
And Mr. Muir, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Minita, and guests that are here, administrators, colleagues. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs, and co-presenting with me is
Rusty Muir, college attorney.
So today, we're going to give, first of all, an overview, very brief overview, because Senate Bill 37 is very lengthy, and we're going to break it down to the board by timelines, right? And the most pressing timeline that we have today is on the new structure for Faculty Senate. So some of the provisions of Senate Bill 37. So today's presentation is going to be to inform you of the key legislative changes impacting governance, operations, and workforce in higher education institutions. Senate Bill has a lot of content. These are the four main, I guess, domains or elements of the bill. One is curriculum oversight, where there's going to be routine reviews for alignment with workforce needs. The other is faculty governance, the establishment of the new faculty senate under this bill. The other is board trainings. There's about 8 or 9 trainings that the board members have to comply with under this Senate bill. And then the office of what is going to be called Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Ombudsman's Office. It's to create and address any internal grievances or complaints that are going internally with higher ed institutions. They're going to be reported to this office, and then they can come in and further investigate should a situation arise. So these are the key areas. We narrowed it down to 7 main points. One is the area, the other is what the board must do. Final authority. The board will have the approval or denial of all key actions when it comes to curriculum, programs, and hires of administration, from dean, vice presidents, associate provosts, which we currently already have, Second is faculty governance, reconstitute or ratify Senate Council, abolish if needed. When you read the details of what the new structure requires, we do have to abolish it, where you're going to see in the next 2 agenda items. There is a need because at this point, the faculty cannot vote primarily on the faculty senate the way it's been structured. Now there's components where the president gets to appoint 1 member, and then we need equal representation of the colleges, which in this case we're going to call divisions, right? Because we don't have colleges necessarily for community colleges.
Dr. Tijerina, can I interrupt?
Sure, of course.
The chair recognizes Ms. Vela in attendance at our Program and Policy Committee meeting. Thank you, Ms. Vela. Thank you, Ms.
So
Dr. Tijerina.
believe me, we would not touch faculty senate if it was not for this Senate bill, and I did meet with Dr. Gilbert Martinez, and the faculty senate leadership. They fully understand how we have to do these processes in order to comply with Senate Bill 37. And I also sent an email to the faculty, and one commented that they understand it's a compliance, it's a state law, right? Number 3 is going to be a curriculum review, where we oversee, certify, and document a 5-year cycle. Program reviews, scrutinize all new programs for statutory compliance. And just so you'll know, we already do program reviews on a yearly basis. This is going to ask for a comprehensive review every 5 years. So we're already technically in compliance. The hiring oversight, approve key positions, report annually to the state leaders. The Ombudsman's Office, respond to complaints, avoid funding or legal sanctions. And lastly, the trustee training, which is to complete, certify, and document all mandated training. So the implication is to conduct regular curriculum evaluations, ensure faculty involvement in governance, comply with trustee training requirements, and address any issues raised through the THCCB Ombudsman's Office. Any questions so far in the overview of Senate Bill 37?
You have more, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Keep in mind,
Yes. Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez. I'm sorry.
thank you, Madam Chair. This is not This is not something that university and college presidents requested. This was one of the governor's key items to get passed during the 89th legislative session. He and the lieutenant governor had this as their top priority, one of their top priorities, and obviously it passed. And we have to comply by August 31st to be enacted by September 1. And so I too have met with the Faculty Senate president, and we're scheduled to have a meeting with all of the leadership next week after the board meeting, just to make sure that everybody understands that everyone still has an equal voice, that everyone is still going to continue to have equal access to both, to all of us as administrators, and certainly to Dr. Tijerina and myself and Dr. Hernandez, who work very closely with the faculty and the faculty, what we're hoping to call the new Faculty Advisory Council. So somewhere in there, we will have to reconstitute something, and we're going to come with some recommendations. And so with their input, and I know that they understand that this is not something that we're doing or taking lightly.
Is it,
Yeah, to recognize
is
Ms.
it
Garcia.
really way off of something that we're already doing, like what
Uh,
the faculty senate does, or is it?
I think it's in the name,
Okay.
right? It's
Uh-huh.
the actual name of Faculty Senate.
Right.
I strongly believe, and this is a personal belief,
Mhm.
based on what we heard during those legislative days, is that this Senate bill was really meant to address, I guess, some of the university issues, but we're having to comply with them as well. Many of these items we're already doing, and in some cases, we do more than them, only because we meet with you all more often, because I think we share with you more than universities do with their appointed by the governor's regions. They don't get involved in
Day-to-day operations.
anything. I mean, not really anything, and they don't even approve, other than presidents and provosts. Regents don't really approve anything. And the budget as a whole for the system, but individually, no. And so a lot of these items we're already doing. And one of the key things, I think, is our programmatic reviews and how we're scaling, because for community colleges, through what's required now between credentials of value and pathways and dual credit and, the requirements of financial aid, we're already doing a lot of the programmatic scaling that they're now going to want us to do, and we're already doing it at the community college level. So it sounds different. We may have different names for what we're already doing and what we're already bringing to you, but you still have to ratify it. There's still a resolution that has to go with it, and there's still some additional bills that are going to require some attention on your all's behalf. This is only Senate Bill 37. There's about, I don't know,
3 or
7 or
4,
8 more that we're going to bring to you, but those have different deadlines. This is the one that has the urgent deadline, right?
I think I do want to say that when we started, with shared governance and making sure that it was applicable across the board at our college. But I think the implications are going to be where there's going to be more shared governance that they can participate in. It's going to be in a different pathway. So that's how I see it. And then I think for us as trustees, the oversight is going to increase because while we're elected officials, we're still, there's still going to be mandates over us. I think that increases the interest that someone can have on serving on a board because responsibility is going to be increased. The oversight is going to be increased. And I do see it as something that can help us, but can also, deter those individuals that might want to participate in the electoral system of running for such positions. It's going to be hard, but those of us that are already here, we're going to adjust very well to it because
Well,
we
just
have
in
to.
the trainings alone,
Yes.
you're now going to go from 4 trainings a year to 12 trainings because
Mhm.
you're going to have those plus the 8 more.
Yes.
And we have to report those to the governor's office.
Mhm. Yes, yeah. So we look forward. Ms. Vela?
You know, I think we're meeting everything, and we've talked about the faculty senate in the past several times. So I don't think we have a problem with any of that. The one that really affects us is the trainings
Mhm.
and, the effect it's going to have on us as a trustee, because it's going to be very obvious from what they're doing that they're going to have a big eye on all of us and the way we act, the way we talk, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So we're going to have to be extra careful in attending meetings and complying, we are. And most of us do.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, most of
it-
us do. But I mean, from 4 to 8.
I think it's
12,
just different because university regents get appointed by the governor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And our trustees
And
at the
ours are-
community college level are elected.
Mhm.
I don't know that they wanted to take it that far at this point. I don't know if that's something that in the future will happen, who knows?
Mhm.
But yes, that whole idea of having an ombudsman at the coordinating board
Yeah, that one.
that anybody can complain to about any one of the trustees. And then an investigation could ensue. And
That's right.
that would fall on Mr. Muir. Now, there is a TASB update this Friday. There is a TASB update this Friday, and we've put together a whole long list of questions between all of us
Mhm.
that both Dr. Rezola and some of his team and Ms. Cardenas and Mr. Muir are going to. So hopefully they'll come back with some answers. Like, we don't know who's going to create those trainings.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it the coordinating board? Are we going to have to create our own trainings or?
And are they trainings that they're already specified as to what they are, or no? Are we?
There is a
They're
list.
giving us the topics. Of what
There
those
is a
trainings
list
are?
of names of the trainings
Okay.
available in the bill, but
They have yet to. be
but
created.
nobody knows who's going to create them.
Okay.
So that's going to be a big
Dr.
question.
Diarina?
Did you want me to list the trainings?
Could
Oh,
you?
you have
just-
them?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes,
it
they're
would
in
be-
the
I
bill.
do.
Yes.
Whoa.
Auditing procedures and recent audits of institutions of higher education, the enabling legislation that creates institutions of higher education, the role of governing board at institutions of higher education, and the relationship between the governing board and an institution's administration, faculty, and staff, and students, including limitations on the authority of governing board. This is number 4, the mission statements of institutions of higher education. 5, disciplinary and investigative authority of the governing board. 6, the requirements of the Open Meetings Law, Chapter 551, Government Code, and the Open Records Law, Chapter 552, Government Code. 7, the requirements of conflict of interest laws and other laws relating to public officials. 8, any applicable ethics policies adopted by institutions of higher ed or the Texas Ethics Commission. And lastly, 9, the requirements of laws relating to the protection of student information under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act of 1974, known as FERPA, or any other federal or state law relating to the privacy of student information. 10, an overview of the legislator, the General Appropriations Act, and the state budget. 11, an emphasis of the commitment the members of the governing board are making to the institution of higher ed. And 12, any other topic relating to higher education the board considers important. And I highlighted this because on completion of a training program under this section, a member of the governing board shall provide a sworn statement affirming the members' understanding of the members' duties and responsibilities.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. So in looking at, well, if possible, could you send me that list and then I will share it with the rest of the board? I am going to say, as chair of this program and policy committee, I would like to share with my colleagues that I think it's important that we have a board workshop, maybe August or September, but that's what I'm going to propose on the day of the meeting, because I think this is very important. In addition to that, I see that a lot of these different trainings, they came from a particular article that was posted in, I believe, 2016 from ACCT, as I do read the articles. And they talked about what was a responsibility. They gave us 10 things, and they mentioned some of these, like the role of the governing board and then the relationship with administration. They talked about the conflict of interest. They also talked about advocacy, which advocacy is actually enabling the legislature, or the overview of the appropriations. So we're rounding about, I mean, maybe what other states have been doing, but I highly doubt that we've been given all of these at the same time. So I would like to ask Mr. Muir, or find out as I read the rest of the bill, is the frequency of of attendance or completion of these trainings. Is it a yearly basis? Are we going to see the same video over and over again, or is it going to be updated as it goes along? So those are some questions that I would like to ask. We could find out as we go along. So that way, the implementation of that Senate Bill 37, it has to be clear, and it has to also be the type that we follow through with it. And then, of course, if we don't, I mean, we're going to be we're not going to comply, right? But to make that description posted on our policies, that this is something that we need to take on and we need to do either yearly basis or whatever. And then how are we going to monitor ourselves? Because out of the entire board, is the chair going to be the monitor of that overview? So those are some questions I think my fellow colleagues, I would ask that you, when we finish with the meeting, I would ask that you contemplate some questions that we could propose to the board and then bring them over to the workshop that we decide to do. So these are just my thoughts, right? Ms. Newsom?
I'm just going to assume here that anything that we are going to be required to do, right, by Senate Bill 37, there's going to have to be some kind of, okay, even if it's like a printout certificate, you complied with this. So I know you're concerned, it's very valid, but I'm pretty sure, if this is, law here, that we're going to have to, we'll be provided something, that says that we've completed that. I mean, that's just my assumption again.
No, and I do agree, but sometimes we get lost past and we just get no clear definition or direction. And so we need to ask those questions so that we can be prepared and we can be ahead of the game. So, Mr. Muir, you want to?
Just to echo things that have been said, the board training issue, that caught the attention of administration, myself, and I know other community college presidents, and I know Dr. Ramirez has spoken to various, either by phone or in email communications, looking at the issues that have arisen in Senate Bill 37, because there are questions that we all have. And there are other bills besides Senate Bill 37 that
Yes.
the board has to be aware of, become aware of, and that impact administration directly. I've had a couple of Zoom meetings, long ones, with some administrators, including Dr. Tijerina, and then Dr. Ramirez was present in a meeting where we had long discussions about Senate Bill 37 and a couple of the other Senate bills. The TASB meeting that Dr. Ramirez spoke about, that will be held this Friday, and the intent there, TASB's intent, it's also, by the way, put together with the Texas Association of Community College Attorneys. So the intent is to review every single bill that was passed and that is becoming law that applies to community colleges. And I'm sure that there will be a lot of information conveyed on Senate Bill 37. So, and the workshop suggestion, I think that's a great suggestion because we have to present this in a way that it's easy to digest. I mean, if you read the bill, it's just very dense and contains a lot of detail. There's minutia in there that administration and myself as the college attorney have to be aware of. But this piece here, we just wanted to focus on, with this short presentation, the faculty senate, because as Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Tijerina stated, the effective date is right around the corner.
Right.
And well, let me dive into it if I can and just
Yes, sir.
go through, unless anybody has any questions
No,
before
sir.
I start. Okay. So Senate Bill 37, it enacts significant changes to the governance of faculty senates. There's 3 different laws that have been added to the Texas Education Code that address these faculty senate issues and becomes effective September 1, 2025. So 2 important points to emphasize is that the existing faculty senates across the state of Texas will be abolished come September 1, 2025, unless the essence is unless they comply with this new law. And the reality is that most, if not all, Dr. Wright, Dr.
don't.
Ramirez, they just don't comply.
Because they're elected, what makes them
Compliant.
compliant is that they're elected amongst their peers. And under the new rules, they can't be elected by their peers.
They will be appointed,
They
correct?
have to be appointed.
Yeah, there is, so first of all, it's the board that establishes the faculty senate.
Yeah.
It's not something that they can do on their own. That would be illegal. And, a key provision in this bill is what Dr. Ramirez mentioned is, how will these members be elected? And what we'll see is that it shifts some of the responsibilities to the administration to do that. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's the intent is most community colleges who have existing faculty senates will probably reconstitute them in a form that's compliant with Senate Bill 37. So only the Board of Trustees, again, can create a faculty senate. But before doing that, you have to adopt a policy that incorporates the requirements from Senate Bill 37. And Dr. Ramirez, Tijerina, will present a timeline to you in just a little bit of what is being recommended to follow to reconstitute the faculty senate, and it addresses the policy. And interestingly, the faculty senate representation, you can only have faculty members on there, and they have to come from each college or school. For community colleges, there are no colleges or school, subdivisions that are referred to as colleges. And here it's just divisions, divisions. The maximum number of members are 60 unless the board provides otherwise. The college president appoints faculty senate officers. That's no longer something that the faculty senate can decide on its own. Yeah, that's a big deal. And the faculty senates will have advisory only authority. I don't think that strays much from what we have now.
Correct.
The existing faculty senate really is advisory in nature. But the members, so the college president will appoint 1 member per division for up to 6 consecutive 1-year terms. So there'll be yearly appointments done. And then if, for example, you have a member of the faculty senate that has completed 6 consecutive 1-year terms, but desires to serve longer than just those 6 years, there has to be a 2-year break. So the college president would have to wait 2 years before appointing that member again. And then the rest of so I don't know how many divisions we have. It'll break down to 3. So there'll be 3 members appointed by the college president. And the faculty elects the remaining members for 2-year staggered terms. And so that's interesting. So here, meetings of the faculty senate must be open to the public. they can set the rule of what a quorum is, and there has to be a live internet broadcast if more than 50% of the faculty senate members
Wow.
attend. You know?
Wow.
So it's a
Wow.
transparent, that's the
Yeah.
idea. I think transparency is
Yeah.
a theme that you see here. Agendas of faculty senate meetings and their curriculum proposals. If they have, hey, we want to propose this curriculum to the administration or to the board for adoption, well, those have to be posted online at least 7 days in advance of the meeting.
Wow.
Mr. Muir,
Yes.
in the previous faculty senate, they had bylaws. Bylaws were created.
Yes.
So will those bylaws have to be enacted also for this
Well,
new council?
yeah, and we'd have to see what they
Reconstitute.
say, but they'll have to adopt their own rules as long as they
Yeah,
don't.
instead of
conflict.
having
They'll
start
have
from
to completely
scratch.
be reconstituted to
Okay.
adhere to the requirements of Senate
That's
Bill
right.
Okay.
37.
Okay,
But, yeah, they're gonna have to be changes within.
That's right.
And it doesn't say anything about us approving that or bringing it to the board for
You're
approval
right,
either.
Doc.
It
As long as
doesn't
it's
say.
not inconsistent with the,
Yeah,
as long as it's on file, right?
yeah.
yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
And then in the previous screen, if you can go back.
Yes.
So the agenda and the curriculum proposals,
7 days ahead.
7 days in advance.
Wow,
Who takes care of that?
they do.
They themselves, whoever
Yeah.
the
Whoever
officers
their,
are?
I'm sure whoever their secretary or parliamentarian or whatever it would be, or Dr. Tiarina
Yeah, I
or
was gonna
in
say-
compliance with
Probably
them.
What's the thing?
Yeah, because there's so much detail in this thing, but there are lots of gaps. And
Okay.
so
Curriculum proposals are submitted to us. We tend to have 2 per year unless there's a mandate that we've got to change something within our programs.
Mhm.
We could sometimes have 3, 4 emergency meetings just because everything just keeps changing and evolving,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So, but we do have one main one in the fall and there is a deadline. But proposals, I mean, we can take them for faculty senate, but they're really driven by the departments of the experts of that discipline. And so there is involvement of the faculty that comes in with these proposals. And then we have a committee of
curriculum.
about, a curriculum committee meeting internally with about 40 members, and I think only 12 are voting members,
Mhm.
right?
That's
More or less. And we invite not just academic affairs, but we invite student success and enrollment management team. So that way, whatever we're proposing, if it violates financial aid, like Stephen is there, if it violates something, that we may not be aware, dual offsite programs, we invite Julio. So we invite everybody, so that way we look at these proposals very carefully and ensure that we're meeting everybody's statutes, requirements,
Wow.
regulations, and so on and so forth.
It's,
Boy,
it's an animal.
can I say something?
Yes,
Yeah.
Ms. Vela, go ahead.
Why are they doing this to us? What's the purpose behind it?
Well, we do
I
that
mean, if-
already on the curriculum
We
side.
do.
That's
I
already
understand.
done.
A lot of it
I mean,
is
that's
done,
not
but,
new.
but all of this, I don't understand the purpose behind this.
Well, I think now it's just transparency in public. It is important for higher eds to be accountable and ensure there's value in the programs that we have in our institutions, right?
But,
To
yeah.
ensure that there's workforce placement. Later, we'll talk about another bill on credentials of value. So if there's a cost to a program and within 5 years they're not making the salary to compensate,
Yeah.
and it's only fair, we've all gone there, where you
Yeah.
struggle finding a job. So it's putting more demands on the academics to embed more workforce credentials, so that way our students are more marketable. I mean, it has its pros and cons, but I think like I said, we've always done program reviews on
Yeah,
a
we
yearly
do.
basis where we
Yes.
review metrics.
Yes.
Unfortunately, and you all have known this, we've had to close down programs.
That's right.
And that's heartbreaking, right?
That
Or we
is.
have to redesign programs.
That's right.
And the faculty, I mean, we understand that things are going to change. And there's talk right now about core curriculum changing too. So there's always things that are evolving, and we just, have to roll with the punches.
Well, and I have to say that while these programmatic reviews do happen at community colleges and probably much more often than people realize, at the university level, those programmatic reviews don't happen that often.
No, they don't.
They're
No, they
not,
don't.
no.
Say, we do.
No, and because the changes so here, we're dealing with a new crop of students every 18 months, every
That's right. that's
every
right.
2 years, sometimes every year.
Yeah,
There's a
right.
whole new, and so the evolution, not just of our student body, but of the demand in the workforce and the demand of the students as they're transferring to other institutions, it's ever changing and it's constant. At university levels, they don't do that. I guarantee you, there are institutions out there that have been teaching the same course
Yes,
the same way
Mhm.
for 30 years
Yeah,
yes.
with the same syllabus,
Yes.
that's right.
because there isn't that programmatic review. And I think this is, again, I think there was some intent to really try to build up the academic rigor in the state of Texas. And I think this was one way to do
That they
it
do
and really provide that oversight. I honestly don't think that Senate Bill 37 was intended to hurt community colleges or universities, but certainly I think there was a lack of understanding of the things that we're already doing
Right.
at the community college level that have now just been added and aligned within
With the
this Senate
university
bill.
too. Yeah. And I'm proud to say that I'm not scared of this challenge because I think our board is solvent and it's really strong, that we're gonna meet it head on, and we're gonna get
Oh,
the
yeah.
work, get the job done. And also, I'm also very proud of administration and the faculty who is also, adopting the changes as they come. And, I can remember a couple of years ago where, Ms. Vela remembers it too, that we were in conflict with faculty, for the faculty senate and the faculty. But I mean, I feel real confident that we've been doing all of this work. And now that they're giving us these different challenges, that we're going to be able to address them, comply with them. And it's not going to feel as bad as if we hadn't been doing some of that, So I mean, I look forward to it. Mom, I'm retired, so I can take all trainings.
Bring it on.
Give me all the trainings once a month if you want to, but no, I'm just, I should not
Well,
say that.
and I will say,
I should not
excuse
say
me,
that. I'm sorry, I'm
excuse me, Ms. Ramos, but I will say that this is just one bill.
Yes.
So I know that we're programmed to have program and policy every other month, but I think that for the next several months, we may need to have it every month,
Every month.
only until we can comply with
Yeah.
all of the new requirements from this last legislative session. And keep in mind that there's a special session, and we're not sure what's going to come
Gonna
out of
come out of
that.
that one, yeah.
And so there may be other requirements that we may have to take a look
Wow.
at.
And also I have to say that as educators, all four of us are educators, we adhere to any changes that happen every year, and we do it with a smile, and we say, I'll take some more.
We're
So,
gonna make it happen.
Yeah,
Whatever needs
yeah,
to happen,
uh-huh.
guys, we're gonna make it
Yes.
happen. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna work with you and we're gonna do whatever we need to do and
Comply.
Yeah,
Comply.
we're gonna
Yes.
comply.
we're gonna comply,
Mhm.
and we're gonna do it with a smile.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
That's right. We comply with a smile.
With a smile, yes,
Do
with a
it.
smile. Mr. Muir, thank you, Dr. Tejeda, for all that you've done for
We're
us.
almost done
Yes.
with
Okay.
this. I'll go back to this other. So this last item here, this kind of tells you a little something about what went on in Senate Bill 35. But shared governance may not be used to obstruct, delay, or undermine necessary institutional reforms or advance political agendas. That's
Yikes.
specifically prohibited
Yeah.
by the bill.
Okay.
And just interesting that they put that in there. And when it comes to grievances involving faculty, only the college president, provost, or designee can handle those grievances and discipline. And then faculty is interesting. I don't think this happens at Laredo College, but faculty without administrative rules may not make final hiring decisions. And that doesn't happen. It's Dr. Ramirez makes the final hiring decisions. So next steps is adopting the resolution to abolish the faculty senate, adopting a timeline to reconstitute the faculty representative organization that's consistent with the bill, which I think Dr. Ramirez is proposing be referred to as faculty council, and then adopt a policy to record that incorporates Senate Bill 37 requirements. So I'll be happy to answer any questions if I can.
Any questions from fellow colleagues?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Maybe later.
Start reading.
Maybe later.
Okay.
All right,
Can
thank
we
you.
do the next one?
Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Muir. Number 5 is discuss for possible action at the regular monthly board meeting, adopting a resolution abolishing faculty senate in accordance with the mandates of Texas Senate Bill 37, Dr. Minita Ramirez and Dr. Tijerina, correct?
So we have included a resolution
Thank you.
that we're proposing that I read at the general board meeting
Mhm.
so that we can adopt the resolution and then, thank you. So once we adopt the resolution, then we can proceed with, I guess, what the next step would be, and that would be to abolish it as we know it, and then move on and adopt, hopefully, what the steps are going to be. So one of our concerns was, or one of my concerns was, okay, we're gonna ask the board to abolish this, but we have a timeline that we need to create so that everybody is of the understanding that just because we're abolishing it as it exists today doesn't mean that it's going to go away forever. So we've created a timeline for ourselves, and that's the next item. But within the resolution, I don't know if you want me to read the resolution now? I think you all have copies of that.
I think I'll do that on the day of the meeting, right?
Yes, I was going to read it at the meeting, but you can read it if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll
It's up
take care
to
of
you.
it. Thank you.
And then if you adopt it, we can move on to the next phase of this process. But the bill does require a resolution.
So number 5 is going to be the resolution, correct? Then
Yep.
number 6, can I go on to number 6 just to call it out?
Yes?
Discuss for possible action at the regular monthly board meeting, a timeline for the creation of a faculty council pursuant to Texas Senate Bill 37, including dates to adopt a board policy that incorporates requirements of Senate Bill 37, appoints members, and establish an effective date, Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Tijerina, which is page 3 on your handout that was given right now by Dr. Tijerina. It has the proposals of the timeline. Dr. Tijerina?
So with you is what's already in the board packet, the timeline. This is a tentative timeline. Remember, so September 1st, we have to abolish it. And Dr. Arrezola and I will work on the compliance report that we do have to submit with the board agenda, with the resolution approved, and then we'll submit that by September 1st. The state is giving us till January 1st of 2026 to reconstitute the faculty. We're going to call it the faculty council, right? So that way we internally understand that faculty senate is the old version prior to Senate Bill 37, and faculty council will be the new version that is in compliance with Senate Bill 37. Yes.
Is it just faculty council or faculty advisory council?
Oh, no.
Only because Dr. Ramirez said advisory. I'm just wondering.
Either one, it's the same thing. I mean, it'll spell out the fact, their advisory role. So it's whatever you all prefer. We could do faculty council or faculty advisory
Yeah, whatever.
council, whatever you all prefer.
I would, to my colleagues, I would suggest that we move from the Senate to the council because it's already stipulated that it's advisory. So if we say faculty Senate will become faculty council, it's going to depend on the board and what they want. I would like to propose to them the different,
Names.
possible names. But if there's something else besides council or advisory council, then maybe they can come up with something and we'll share that with them too. So,
Ms. Vela?
Ms. Vela?
So then, September 1st, no more faculty senate. And then when does the council start? January 1st?
Right. As
January.
quickly as we can move in this timeline. Ideally, we want to be done, when I spoke to Dr. Martinez, we want to be done by October, right? And when I say done, Rusty mentioned two policies that need to be revised. One is dealing with board meetings, right? Because right now it's called a faculty senate. Well, we need to remove that from the agenda item
Yes,
and now call it a faculty
Council.
council.
Yes.
You know, the other one is a description of what faculty senate is, but it still has a lot of things from the previous way of how we did this. Earlier, somebody mentioned about the Constitution. That has to be revised because the service of membership is different. The being public to the meetings, now that mandate needs to be embedded in the Constitution. So not only their Constitution needs to be revised, but also our faculty handbook, because we do have a faculty
Right.
handbook, a small section of faculty senate, but you know, we have to revise it as well. So there's different things that need to be fixed.
Right.
And I think that's why they're giving us, what, 4 months or what are we?
Yes.
Well, I
Yeah.
would say that you continue with your timeline, the way that you've set it up.
Mhm.
But I would like to suggest that maybe we could vote, Mr. Muir, maybe we could vote on the name tomorrow, Thursday, or can that happen? I mean,
Tomorrow,
it's Thursday.
Tomorrow.
If you look at the resolution, I think the board will adopt a number 3 and 4, it says, the board will adopt a formal policy under section 51.3522 to govern the future establishment of a representative faculty body to be known as the Faculty Council, consistent with state law and the best interest of Laredo College.
That's number 6, right? That's the one we were talking about.
Right, but it's in the resolution.
Oh, it's in the resolution.
In the
okay.
resolution, we already
Named it.
we already named it as Faculty Council.
Okay.
And then number 4 says the board will adopt a timeline for the formation of Faculty Council.
Okay. Okay, so, Mr. Mayor? So being that it's already placed as faculty council, does that give the board the authority to be able to make that decision or just?
Yeah, it's actually your decision
Mhm,
based
exactly.
on Senate Bill
If
37.
you did not want to call it faculty council, I would modify this resolution.
So we're not going to vote on it right now, but I am asking for suggestions. Can we move forward with it and then present it at the meeting? And with a caveat that if someone does not approve of it or the name, I'm just concerned because like Ms. Newsom was saying, Faculty Advisory Council, I would like to give that to the board. I mean, they need to make that decision. It's, you know what I mean? It's like,
To your board or to
To
the?
our board, yeah,
Okay.
to our board, yeah.
I think.
So if the board adopts the resolution, which we're recommending that you do, you're adopting what's stated in there.
Okay,
And if the board felt, after a discussion, well, here's the resolution, here's what it
I don't
says.
like what
And
it
one of the things it says is we're naming the new faculty representative organization, Faculty Council, and the majority doesn't want to go with that name. I suggest you just change the name in the resolution.
so as a committee, do you all agree that we can propose this resolution as it's stated?
Yes.
Okay, is everyone okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want somebody to come back and say, you didn't give me a chance to participate in the naming or the renaming and so forth. But as a committee, I think we have that ability to be able to propose it to the rest of the board. Because we're proposing all of this, right? We're not voting on anything, but definitely, if the committee agrees, this is the way it will be proposed.
So the names that were suggested by by Senate Bill 37, faculty council is one of those names.
Okay. Mhm.
And it is, I think there were only two other, it was faculty you could still call it faculty senate, but there was a but in there.
Yeah.
You can call it faculty council, or you could call it faculty advisory council. And Dr. Tijerina, and it was my mistake because Dr. Tijerina and I had discussed this with Dr. David and Dr. Hernandez. And one of the things we talked about and with the president of Faculty Senate was faculty council was broader than just you only have advisory role.
Yeah.
That gave them a little more, they felt like we thought it might be a little broader.
And that's
than-
fine.
So, and I also believe like just serving on different boards, when they move you to the advisory, it kind of gives you like a less.
Less,
Like
Yes, and I don't want that feeling. I don't want the faculty to have that feeling that that their voice is any less than it used to be.
Mhm.
You know,
If I may
that's why I
add,
rather,
um,
I like faculty council rather than faculty advisory.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm reading the bill and it says, like Dr. Minita said, sorry, Dr. Ramirez, in this section,
Okay,
quote unquote, faculty council or senate, close quote, means a representative faculty organization. So I think she's right. We're only limited to faculty council or faculty senate.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
And I can,
That's, no, that's fine.
no,
I trust you.
you.
Yeah, no.
You're our guiding. You guide the way. Okay, so we are okay with the resolution as it is being
Yes.
presented. Okay. So we're still talking about 6?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
so
What
we're
else?
going to move as fast so that way we bring it to the board, we approve
So that we
the
can
name,
move
the
on.
structure, exactly. So that way we
Yes.
can establish it and we comply with that deadline
Mhm.
prior to January
to
1st of
January.
2026. And then in the next deadline, I'll be back to talk about the next focus area of Senate Bill 37.
Questions?
No, I mean,
Ms. Vela?
will faculty be involved
Will
at
you
all?
turn on your microphone,
Yeah, I
please?
would, but I'm very far. Will faculty be involved in this? Good.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Just, good.
absolutely.
Thank you, Dr. Tijerina.
Thank you.
We go on to number 7, amend Laredo College Board Policy DMC Local, termination of employment, reduction in force, to authorize the college president to act without prior board approval solely in cases of confirmed loss or curtailment of federal or state grant funds, provided that such actions are subject to case-by-case legal review and reporting to the board at the next regular meeting. It doesn't say whom, but I'm assuming it's Dr. Ramirez, right?
It's all of us, yes.
It's all of you, okay?
In the last several months, we have had reduction in federal funding and support for some of our programs. Late February, early March, we lost the first 300,000 for the citizenship program. Then a week and a half ago, we were advised that we were losing another $900,000 for some of our adult education programs. Out of that funding, there are positions that have to be terminated. The ending of the funding is September the 15th, and
Of this
what-
year.
of this year.
Of this year.
So what's happening is we're getting these reductions. And then we're being told by the Department of Ed or whatever department is funding us, the Department of Labor, and saying, on this day, you don't have any more money and you cannot keep the program going. Very similar to what happened at the Job Corps,
Mhm.
where they were told in the morning, you have to be closed by 5 o'clock and everybody has to be gone.
Mhm.
We have looked at the possibilities of, is there a way that we can close out the program, continue the program, give people an opportunity to look for other employment, to try to support. Unfortunately, while yes, that's our goal, and that's what we'd like to figure out, That's not what we're being asked to do.
To do. Mhm.
We're being told, close the program, and it's over.
This is federal?
This is
Federal
federal
funding.
funding.
Federal funding.
Now, we were hoping that with what was announced over the weekend or Friday about that $5.5 billion that is going to be added back, that some of this may get returned and that we may be able to continue. However, in doing weekend research over that 5.5 billion, it's for K-12
Mhm.
that the
Yes.
money is going back
Oh.
and does not include us. There are several other grant programs that we have not gotten our renewal letter for the next year. And we've been meeting with all of the grant folks since January. When grant employees are hired, yes, when they're hired, or when we put the application out for people who are applying for jobs within grants, it is very clear in the application that it is dependent on funding. And they know, and that's part of the interview process, and that's part of the hiring process, that they understand that it's based on funding. In January, when all of this talk started about cuts, we met with everybody, and we've continued to meet with all of the grant folks that we have, and we have numerous. Now, we've received 3 of our grants that we are going to get renewed for sure. We, at least for 1 more year, assuming nothing happens in between, right? But then we have these others, 2 that we already know we're not going to get. And then, and we're waiting for 2 more.
And what are they? I'm sorry.
Trio and Upward Bound.
Wow.
Mhm.
And so those we have not heard anything.
That's the one that hurts the most.
And so we're hoping, we're still hoping, but I went on the G5 website this morning where we have all of our grants listed and all that, and there's nothing there for those programs yet.
This is good news, though.
Well, and that's what I keep telling myself, and that's what we, but in the end, we really need to update the policy so that if that happens and we have to terminate by a particular date, then I'll bring it to the board at the next board meeting and advise you all of what happened and why it happened, and share with you the letters we receive, or whatever we were told and why we were told.
Ms. Newsom?
The only thing I was going to ask, so I'll go, you're familiar with ESSER funds.
Right,
So
exactly,
The district hired a bunch of people.
right.
Because there was this, grant money. But it was stipulated that this was only a 3-year
Correct.
contract.
That's right.
And
Well,
so my question, right, for these employees, are
yes.
they aware?
Yes.
that-
So for
that
example,
They sign and, are they told?
They don't have a
when they-
contract.
There's no contract?
There's no
Mm-mm.
contract.
They're
There's no
not, no,
contract.
they're-
No contract?
No
no, we
contracts.
don't do
We
contracts.
don't do contracts.
We don't do contracts for the.
So
for
we-
the faculty.
We're at-will employees,
Yeah.
ma'am.
At-will
I
employees.
heard about that.
Yeah.
We're
There
at,
used to be contracts.
Yes.
yeah, but we're at-will
Right?
employees. We
We're-
can't,
Yeah, we can.
we're state employees and
So-
at-will.
State is a little bit different as far as
Yeah.
like,
It's,
they can let you go if there's no
Yeah,
funding, they
it's,
can let you go if.
The only ones that have contracts are faculty.
Yeah.
So the idea is so the real concern is, how are we going to provide certain services that those grants provide?
Mhm.
Tutoring being one of them. I mean, how are
I
we going to
know,
continue to
just-
provide some of those services that those grants currently provide? So one of our grants, the end date of the grant is August 31st of 2025. That's the end of the 4-year cycle.
Yes.
And we have not gotten the opportunity to reapply for the next 4-year cycle. So typically what'll happen with Upward Bound or Trio or any of those programs is that you get a renewal opportunity,
Mhm.
and then they evaluate your outcomes, and then you get refunded for another 4 years. Well, that hasn't yet happened. And so so we've got these issues that we're pending right now, and we just, so the policy needs to adhere with what we can do. Now, these are just for the grant folks, not our regular employees. This is just for the grants.
Yes, Ms. Newsom?
Well, so when was the decision made, or what was the date, or how long ago was this decision made that these employees or people that come, for interviews, there's no contract for them? Because my understanding was that there were some contracts, and then that was just something that was, I guess employees told me, right? I'm gonna be straight up, and I didn't know what they were talking about. First thing I said, what do you mean you don't have a contract, right?
We
So, so we're talking about then faculty, professors,
contract.
teachers, they have contracts,
Yes.
but everyone.
And term contracts based on the
Right, yes.
semesters,
But
yeah.
everyone else.
No.
We do
So
not,
when
as
was
at-will
that
employees.
decision made?
Because
they had
Vero's not
contracts,
here.
that's what I was told.
Ms. Cardenas isn't here, but I think it was a year and a half ago,
A year ago.
about a year and a half
No, we
ago.
voted on it.
Yeah, we voted.
So we're either exempt or non-exempt employees. And
Yep.
so exempt employees are administrative roles, and non-exempt are hourly employees. And so
So I'm concerned with that because y'all can hear me, right? If I turn on the mic, it's gonna be louder.
yeah,
You want it?
Yes,
You want
turn
it?
it on.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're recording.
Okay, so my concern is that, so we have these positions, why we want to employ the best candidates out there for whatever position or role, right? And so I think that this would be something not having some kind of contract. So it's verbal, like you just tell the people, okay, so-and-so, okay, we're giving you this job. You don't sign anything. You don't have anything that says you have this job, and it's based on a grant. So whenever the grant leaves, but it's all verbal, like this is
Well,
all, this is like, it's never
there-
written, not even on an email?
No, you
Like-
get a letter that says you received the job
Okay,
and that you're hired. And in this case, for these grants, the letter, it's
The
like a
state-
letter of intent, like what you get at the district, you get a letter of intent, not a contract. You get a letter of intent, and the letter of intent specifically states what you're gonna get paid, the term of the terms of your agreement, but that's it. And in those that are on grants, they're told, this position is based on the funding for the grant that you applied for, and it'll have the name of
so
the
when you
grant
say
and
they're
whatever.
told, meaning it's on that same.
It's on the application,
Okay.
it's on the publication of the job with the job description, and expectations of the position. It's on the application, and then when they're
On that letter
interviewed,
of intent, is it there?
so yes, it's
Okay.
on there, it has to be, because they're not part of the regular fund.
Put it back.
Mm-mm.
So I'm going to recommend, because since this item, the discussion is not on the agenda for
Yes, ma'am.
today, I'm going to recommend that we bring this up at the next policy meeting.
Sure.
There are questions that our colleague is asking and wants to know answers before we bring them over to the board, because the discussion for this type of conversation cannot happen tomorrow or the day of the meeting,
Right.
because we're addressing the change in policy.
Well,
So I really feel that we need to be updated also, especially for new trustees, right?
mhm.
But also because most of us have been here before, and then we could be updated on the processes. Dr. Tijerina, I saw that you wanted to make a comment.
It's not on.
Hello?
There.
There it is.
I just wanted to comment that everybody has job descriptions, and even though faculty do have contract under this policy, remember what I said earlier, that unfortunately, when we have to delete a program, either because it's a mandate by the state, we have to do a reduction of force. And unfortunately, we've had to present this for programs that we had to shut down.
Right.
And so even though they had a contract under this policy, we can't sustain their jobs because that program
No longer.
was eliminated. And I believe the reason the contracts were removed for everybody is because the state is encouraging at will. So many community colleges have done away with contracts, even for faculty, because things keep changing overnight. I mean, right now, there's a lot of talk, even SAC COC is embedding best practices for bachelor's degree of 90 hours. So what does that tell us for community colleges? Our associate degrees may drop to 45 hours or 30 hours, right?
That's right.
So that's why there's so many pieces, and believe me, that's, after so many years of administration, that's probably the toughest thing when we have to present a reduction in force due to a state or legislative or a financial impact. And it's not an easy thing to do, but unfortunately, that's
We don't have
what,
control over that.
correct.
And I would like to ask that information that you just provided to be placed with the other information that we're going to bring back to the program and policy. And also, Ms. Bocanegra, if possible, if you could give us the date that that was adopted, I think it would help us.
Excuse me, but that policy is different from this policy.
Correct, yes.
Okay, yes.
But since we're going to be addressing it at another meeting,
Yeah.
then maybe we'll make that recommendation when you send out that email that says any items to be placed in the agenda,
Mhm.
and then we should also discuss it.
If you recall, that's also when we started to make the changes to tenure, because the state was requiring us to
That's
make
right.
those
To do away
changes.
with tenure as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the terminate, yes, Mr. Muir.
Yeah, very brief. I know this is said already, but this policy does state specifically that reduction in force language has to be included in Laredo College contracts. So all the contracts, they're basically faculty has contracts, have this language. It says, if there's a reduction in force can happen in one of two ways: financial exigency or a program change.
That's
They're all
Mhm,
basically
yes.
tied to funding.
Mhm.
But that is good cause to terminate a contract, reduction in force.
And,
Thank you.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you for the clarification, Dr. Ramirez and Mr. Muir. I just wanted to make sure that it was somewhere, you know?
Yes.
At first, when I'm
Yeah.
hearing this, it's like, okay, they're just told, like, that's not going to work. But
No, no, no.
if it's on the letter of intent, if
Yeah.
it's on, if it's written somewhere that it's contingent upon, grant monies or, funding, then, or that,
In our
I
board
just think,
policy.
I would like to, for all of us to see it, just if we need to make it a little clearer, because we don't know, what next month holds. My goodness, right? We don't know what a couple of months. So in hiring people, I just want to do what's right, the
Correct.
best that we can do to be sure that we are clear and that they are clearly understanding. And so I would like for all the board to just look at the wording there, because just for our protection and then for their sake, this is their livelihood for many of them. And yeah.
Well, and we,
And-
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, and we want to provide some security to our employees, right? We
Yes.
want to, we want them to know that, that's why we've been meeting with the grant folks and starting, as soon as this started to happen, we started to advise them and meet with them in groups and saying, when you came to work for this grant and we told you this was a possibility. Dr. Fred Solis was still here. We started meeting with the group. Dr. Tejirina was meeting with her group of grants. And over the course of the last 4 or 5 months, we've continued to meet with them and say, any updates? And we check in with each other, because sometimes, like the LEAPS folks, they got the letter. I didn't get the letter
what
until
does that mean?
after. So she got the letter first and then I got the letter. So the idea was, how do we stay? We're staying in communication. We're all worried. We have some really good people that have done a good job, but
Mhm.
at this point, we're at the mercy of the
mercy of
big,
the
beautiful
government.
bill. And so some of these programs are gonna go away, and we know that.
And I would like to clarify that this particular item deals with delegating the authority to the president. So if we talk about how the effects of this particular policy, then we are dissecting it. And we also need to be very careful as board members, because we're creating the policy that is going to be adopted at the meeting that will also give or take away that authority that we're giving to that person, to the individual. In this case, it's the president. We need to be very careful, because if something like this is going to take place, we're giving the authority to the president, as she already has, as far as like being the president and the head HR person of the college, to do what needs to be done. And Mr. Muir has already stated that it's there, that it's supposed to be posted and figured out. Now, what we voted on at that particular time, then that we can bring back to the board to have a reminder, a review, notification. But I caution board members to make sure that we stay within our scope of what we are supposed to do, which is policy. So right now we're addressing, and I'm going to go ahead and read it out so that y'all can, you can see it on the screen. The addition of board action and delegation of authority. Notwithstanding the above, the board delegates to the college president the authority to dismiss employees pursuant to an RIF when a program change occurs as a result of a curtailment of state or federal grant funding.
Yep.
If we see the rest of the policy, we can see where it states, and Mr. Muir, you can help me out with that. As far as definitions, general grounds for dismissal, employment areas, criteria for decisions, board action, appeals, exception, rights of employees subject to reduction in force, and reemployment. So I'm sharing this with the committee, that we're going to bring it to the board to see if we can provide this change in this DMC local policy. And then I will, I'm not going to instruct anybody, but I'm going to suggest that we do have this conversation about the processes of how this came to be. So in the next program and policy meeting, which hopefully can take place in August, that we have, that's going to be one of our items that we want to discuss. And that includes also the date of the adoption of the change in the policy coming from the state, changes in at-will employees and so forth. And also, how does it affect the different categories of employees, exempt and non-exempt? You want to add something else?
I just think we just need to be a little more specific. And again, I'm not looking at what these letter of intents look like, or what the job posting looks like, or even what conversations are had when the employee is offered the position. I would like to see something, and again, it would be, I think it's important as a board, right?
Mhm.
Because we're still, it still says there, the board shall determine, right?
Yes.
And the board delegates. And so I just want to be sure that as a board, we, that all the language, that we're as clear as possible as we can be, where there would be no misunderstanding on the part of the future employee that would be applying for anything, or somebody who's already employed and maybe losing their job. So that's all. It should just to protect both parties in this case.
Mr. Muir?
Yes, ma'am. I did want to suggest a very minor change to the language that we have added. The agenda item talks about delegating to the college president the authority to RIF when there is a loss or curtailment of grant funding. And the actual policy, we just have the word curtail. So I think we should add a loss or curtailment of state or federal grant funding, just to be consistent with the agenda item. So
The way the agenda reads out, right?
I was gonna say.
yeah,
Okay.
so it's a change occurs right at the end of that new text.
As a result
change
of a loss or
loss or
curtailment?
curtailment of state,
Okay, or federal
a
grant
state or
funding.
federal grant
Okay.
funding.
Okay.
And this, number 7 that we're talking about
Mhm.
is just amending, but it is solely in cases of
In case,
the loss, or, you know what I mean? It's right,
absolutely.
our curtailment of federal or state grant.
State
Amen.
fund, yes, correct.
Yes.
It's not termination of any other kind of person or of employee.
I guess because really, when you talk about reduction in force, it can either be state funding or unless they change and no more property taxes, something like that, that could duly affect. It could be a lot. Mr. Vela, do you want to just,
Órale.
Cesar Vela, VP of Finance and Administration. In reality, it could be any type of funding.
Mhm.
You
That's
could
right.
have a reduction in enrollment that
That's what I
curtails
heard.
that you don't have tuition and fee revenue,
That's right.
and that could impact the program
That's right.
Mhm.
or operations overall.
can we say curtailment of funding? Or are we just keeping it at state or federal grant funding? Mr. Muir?
I think the board could change the policy. I'm not
Whatever
sure,
you want, but-
Dr. Amias may want to weigh in on that, but the board could do that for sure.
Because really, right now, the concern is the
Just-
date that we're talking about, which is the August 31st. And then everything has to finish, the end of the funding is September 15th. And, so we're getting ahead of ourselves, and we're making sure that we cover our bases, especially for the individuals, and for the program, because it's going to affect the participants as well. So, committee, what do you want? Do you want it to stay as loss or curtailment of state or federal
Yes.
grant funding for right now?
Yes,
We can always come back and we can change it.
yeah.
Okay, yes, okay,
I mean, this is just because of what's happening right now
yeah,
with the
okay.
government. I mean,
So
forced
we're going to
do
leave it like that,
this.
but Mr. Vela is correct when he
Yeah.
says that it could be any type of funding.
Absolutely.
So,
At which point we would bring it to you.
yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yes. Well, all of them are brought to us. You can,
Yeah. The only reason these that are federal or state funding is because they're mandating us to terminate
That's
by a
right.
certain
by a certain
date.
date. Mhm,
And
yes.
if we can't bring it to the board in between, or we can't have a special call meeting for that approval, we still have to terminate them.
That's right.
In which case, that's the fear. If it was a major situation where we would have a huge reduction in knock on wood, in any other way that would require something else, then that we would bring an emergency meeting to discuss that budgetary issue,
Mhm.
and then that decision could be made at the budget level. I think right now, the issue for us is these grants that are state and federal, and both state and federal, because some of this federal funding is coming through the state
Mhm.
or coming through state agencies. And so that's the issue. We could even bring to you all, if you'd like, the actual wording that we put in the announcement when these grants are posted for employment, and what we put in the letters of, once we're giving them the letter of employment and telling them what position they're getting and all of that, what exactly it says, and we can be consistent in the wording on both, so that there's no question about
Mhm.
them knowing this is a grant.
Us, and we say, yes, this is indeed what it says.
Right.
This is indeed.
And
The-
again, it will have to be with the other item
Correct.
that we're
Yes,
bringing.
ma'am.
Yes. uh-huh.
But the
Yes.
idea is that the wording on a grant posting would be very clear, and you all would know what that wording is, so that there's no question about why.
Yes, okay.
Very good.
Before we conclude, I would like to say that I want to show gratitude to my committee members. And it's going to be a long ride coming up ahead. Serving on the committee for the past 10 years, I am confident in knowing that when we meet together, we have discussions, we review things, and we provide input. So as the chair of the committee, I would like to just give my gratitude to you all. First of all, for being here the day before the meeting. tomorrow's the meeting, for sure? Oh, that was Thursday. I was planning to come Thursday. No, but in all seriousness, just, some gratitude for our admin, some gratitude for our college attorney who provides us with insight, and for the participants that come and listen to the meeting, and to those that are listening, online. And I think it requires a lot from everyone. And coming together as a group really helps us to make sure that we stay on top of what's coming up, and that we do our due diligence. And so I'm proud of my committee, and I will continue to work as hard or harder to make sure that we continue to, how the Rotary says, to be equal and to be good to each other, to service above self, right? So this is a very complex committee, but it's also very rewarding. So I just wanted to take that opportunity, maybe because I've been restful and I've enjoyed my summer. I don't know, but I feel like a gratitude that I wanted to let you all know. So with that, we adjourn, and it is 6:58. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.